What's up, guys? I'm Avery with American Home Team at eXp Realty, and just like you, I was sitting behind my computer screen wondering what it would be like to relocate to the Wilmington, North Carolina area. And when I did, I didn't have a whole lot of preparation. I didn't have a whole lot of, conversations about the move or a whole lot of help making that move to the Wilmington area. And so this video, we're going over the top 10 tips that I have to help prepare you for a relocation to Wilmington, North Carolina. Let's hop into it. All right, so tip number one is to start planning early. I absolutely love when I get calls from clients that are saying, hey, I'm looking at moving in December of 2025, November 2025, whatever that looks like, but several months out, even a year out. I love when I get those calls because that tells me that those people are thinking about this move and they have been thinking about this move for quite some time. That allows me to put a plan in place for them, and it allows them to come up with a plan and really start executing on that plan so that they're not caught off guard with anything in the relocation process. And so typically what I recommend to my clients or anyone that calls me is that they schedule a trip, just a business trip, maybe a little bit of vacationing too, but a business trip to Wilmington, North Carolina, to the area that you're thinking about spending a great deal of your time, of your life in. And so once we kind of get that, scheduled out, we put that on the calendar when you're going to come visit the area, we go out, we have dinner, we get drinks, I show you a couple neighborhoods, I show you different parts of Wilmington, different suburbs, different neighborhoods, and help you zone in on the area that suits you and your needs best. A lot of people want to be right in the hustle and bustle. A lot of people want to be right next to stores. They don't want to drive more than 5 or 10 minutes to get to the store, get to downtown. But then there's a lot of people that want to be in the country. So maybe, Hampstead or Rocky Point or even parts of Leland or Bolivia might be good options for you. So all in all, the sooner you get ahead of this and the sooner you book your exploratory visit, the sooner you're going to be able to determine what part of Wilmington you ultimately want to be in. Now with that, it's going to help you familiarize yourself with the city. It's going to help you understand the quadrants. It's going to help you understand what beaches suit you best. Where is the college? Where is downtown in relation to everything? Where is the airport? Maybe you travel for work a lot and you need to be close to the airport or at least within 30-minute drive, right? That can put you in a lot of different places in the Wilmington area. So that exploratory visit is going to be crucial. So start planning early and let's have a conversation. Plan that time, plan that visit, and we'll go over sort of the landscape of the city and help you make a decision from there. But I'm a big believer that unless you step foot in the city, you can't really make that decision. So a lot of people find great value in that exploratory visit. Now, tip number two is, and I sort of alluded to this in tip number one, but find the right Wilmington neighborhood. There's so many different cultures throughout Wilmington. There's so many different vibes throughout Wilmington. Some are closer to the stores, some are further from the stores, some are closer to the airport or to the water or the river, right? What are the things that are important to you? What's the price point that you're okay with spending? And let's find those neighborhoods. You'll recognize sort of those neighborhoods that, suit you best just probably on video. I have a whole number of neighborhood tours in my YouTube channel, so feel free to explore those videos after this one. But finding a neighborhood can be crucial when determining, the success of your relocation or your happiness in a specific city, whether it's Wilmington or any other city in North Carolina or around the world. So this is something that I wish I did or had help with when I moved to the area. I had a good understanding of the area. I've lived here once before when I was in the Marine Corps, so I understood sort of where I wanted to live. But the neighborhoods were a little weird to me when I actually moved here. You're not going to find many neighborhoods without HOAs, but as you get outside of Wilmington and in some of the more rural areas, you will find neighborhoods that, are just different. Maybe they don't have an HOA, or maybe they're just far cheaper of an HOA. And then, obviously the higher HOA has more amenities, pools, fitness centers, clubhouses, tennis courts, racquetball courts, all of that stuff. There are some incredible neighborhoods here. Go down through my YouTube channel to find some of those neighborhoods. I have all different price points, everywhere from $200,000 up, to $15 million. So whatever you're looking for, you can certainly find it in my channel. Tip number 3 is to familiarize yourself with the Wilmington real estate market. What homes are selling for? What is the real estate process here in North Carolina? Because it's very different from a lot of other states. I was a realtor in upstate New York, and I sold real estate a certain way for 6 years. And then I moved here and I learned a whole different side of real estate that is honestly kind of funky. And it confuses a lot of people when they look at relocating to this area. We have something called due diligence. We are one of 8 states that has due diligence and the due diligence fee. Not many states have the due diligence aspect. So when we talk about due diligence and we talk about earnest money, it does confuse a lot of people. So make sure that you're contacting me. We will go over kind of a little presentation about, some of the things you can expect in the real estate market. You do not need to be looking at houses. You do not need to find a house to have this conversation. I'm a big believer in preparation, and part of your relocation experience is being prepared for the real estate market. So reach out early and let's have a discussion so that you are familiar with the process and some of the hiccups that you may encounter throughout your time in the relocation process. And hopefully I can prepare you to avoid some of the mistakes that maybe I made or some other people made that don't have the experienced agent helping them. Tip number 4 is that you need to figure out your budget. A lot of people get pre-qualified before they call me, which is great. However, it's important, in my opinion, to have a local lender. That's not to say that you can't work with any lender across the United States as long as they are licensed in North Carolina, because you absolutely can. But I would like to have a conversation with them because there are some nuances in the Wilmington market that, for financing reasons and finances is a bit different than other states. A lot of people call me and they start asking about real estate. They don't even care about the taxes because they're going to be saving a ton of money regardless where they move to. But from, especially northeastern folks, your taxes are astronomical. People come from California, your taxes are astronomical. You're going to be saving a lot of money coming here with regard to property taxes. I saved about 80% myself moving from upstate New York. So something to think about. You need to familiarize yourself with the budget here in Wilmington, or just the pricing and such here in Wilmington, because home prices are a little bit higher, but taxes are lower. So everything kind of evens out, but your first year is probably going to be more expensive with moving costs and all of that stuff. But as long as you have your budget dialed in, then we can rock and roll from there. All right. And tip number 5 is to consider renting before you buy. And I know that sounds a little weird coming from a real estate agent that makes money on the sale of homes, but I rented initially when I first moved here, and partly to, number 1, make sure my business was well established, but also to make sure that I was comfortable in the area that I was living. The last thing you want to do is choose the wrong neighborhood, choose the wrong suburb, and something maybe is a little bit too far from the city or your daily necessities. So you want to really focus in on those areas. And I believe that renting in the meantime, until you find those areas, can be very beneficial for you. Once again, I did it, and a lot of people do that. They will find a short-term rental, maybe an Airbnb, to travel the area and maybe get under contract on a house. But then other people will do a long-term rental, maybe 6 to 12 months, to really hone in on those areas that they like. Maybe you're just unsure. Maybe you need a little bit of time to sell your house, and renting is going to be the best way to do it. We can really curate that decision as we kind of get conversing and talking to each other about your specific situation, but a lot of people do consider renting prior to buying. All right, and tip number 6, if you have kiddos, if you are, thinking about school districts and that kind of thing, you need to do your research on school districts. In all of my videos, I talk about school districts. I talk about the best school districts and some of, not so great school districts. I'm very limited as to what I can say as a real estate professional. I cannot cross the boundary at all. I could risk losing my license. But with that said, there are plenty of resources that you can go online, you can look at to research some of these school districts. What I will say is that New Hanover County Schools overall rating is very good. Right outside of New Hanover County in Pender County is an area called Hampstead. Topsail School District is the highest rated Hampstead school district according to niche.com. So Hampstead might be on your radar already if you're considering Wilmington, but overall, New Hanover County school districts are pretty good. But the school districts can vary by the neighborhood that you live in. So if you are interested in school districts, if you are bringing kiddos with you and that's something that's important to you, or you're just interested in school districts because you care about the resale value of your home, because generally the better the school district, the more appreciation a home will experience, reach out, let's talk about it. I'll get you a ton of resources to go and do that research yourself so that you can make the best decision for you and your family. But school districts are important to a lot of people, so certainly don't hesitate to ask about schools. All right, tip number 7 is, going back to one of my other tips earlier in the video, is touring the area prior to making that decision to move. And I know a lot of people that tour it in every single season of the year. And the reason they do that is to make sure that the summers aren't too hot and humid, the winters aren't too cold, right? We have a very mild climate here in Eastern North Carolina, but some people, if you're moving from out west, you think it's a little bit too humid in June, July, August. A lot of people like the snow, so Eastern North Carolina is not going to be for them, but Western North Carolina might be for them because they get snow out there. So try to tour North Carolina in every single season. And I know that's asking a lot to travel and, maybe pack up your kids, pack your bags. It's a lot of money in flights if you're flying, so on and so forth, but it will help. I have a number of videos talking about the climate and what it's like in certain months of the year. We were on the beach in Christmas. It was 65 degrees. I have a picture of it. Awesome time. So we are very mild here in Eastern North Carolina, but to some people, that mild is not such a good thing. So whatever you're interested in as far as the climate goes, let's have a conversation about it. I can give you some info, but you need to experience it yourself. The last thing I would want is for you to move here, be miserable in the summer months, and then move away, right? So touring the area is definitely going to help you get acclimated to the climate. And tip number 8, and this is a bit of, housekeeping and whatnot, but figure out the utilities in the area. We'll budget for those utilities because it's different here in Eastern North Carolina than a lot of places around the U.S. For example, we don't have a lot of natural gas. There's a couple neighborhoods that have natural gas, but most of the neighborhoods are on propane and electric. That's about it. We don't have a lot of public sewer. Most areas are on septic. We do have public water, but some areas, some neighborhoods are on wells. So something to think about. But as we're kind of looking at houses and really diving into the areas that fit you and your family and your needs, we can start zoning in on those utilities. And when we're ready to make an offer on a house, or we're just interested in learning more about a house, we can ask for average utility bills. That's going to help you budget. Going back to our budgeting tip, it's going to help you budget on a monthly basis. If those utilities are too high, then maybe you just stick to renting. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure you have enough information, and getting the utilities and really understanding the utilities is going to help you do so. All right, and tip number 9 is to get involved in the community early. Now, I say that very loosely because here in the Wilmington area, you can be as involved or uninvolved as you want. That's just the area that we live in. You really don't need to be involved if you don't want to. If you're a homebody, much like myself, believe it or not, you don't need to get involved, but there's plenty of opportunities to get involved. So if you like going out to eat, you like going out to drink, if you like going to the beach, going to some events like concerts and festivals and things like that, get involved. Go meet some of the local mom and pop business owners, do that kind of thing. It's going to make your experience here in Wilmington much more enjoyable when you start getting friends and you have things that you like to do and you can go do them because you know where they are and you know the other people that are doing them. So get involved early. And if you need tips on how to do that or what you can do or whatever, let's have a conversation and see what I can help you with. But there's tons of opportunities to get involved. But once again, we are in an area that you can be as involved or uninvolved as you want. And then the last tip that I have for you, and this is the most important tip, if you ask me, is to enjoy the process. Guys, I'm here to handle almost everything for you. There's certain decisions I can't make for you. There's certain things I can't do for you, right? Nor do you want me to do for you. But I try to handle as much as humanly possible for you. It's a big process to relocate from one place to another, whether it's city to city or it's state to state or country to country. It's a big decision. I did it. I have the experience myself. So I try to offload a lot of the nonsense off your plate. I have a transaction manager and a team in place that's going to help you enjoy the process. I want you to focus on the community. I want you to focus on living it up at the beach, going to the restaurants, getting your drinks, having fun, with your kids. I don't want you being burdened down by a lot of the paperwork, a lot of the real estate nuance here in North Carolina. That's what I'm here for, and I will take all of that off your plate if you allow me the opportunity. So the phone number and email address on the screen, that is the best way to get in contact with me. I would love to hear from you, have a conversation, and see how I can best help. But until the next video, guys, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you're notified every time that I make a new video. And until the next video, peace. We'll see you later. Bye.